Hello everyone, I'm Charles Witschard, and today I would like to talk about this new system made by Profile Tech. It's a leveling system. The system is called Level Tech. You guys can go ahead, Google it, look it up. There's a couple of videos on it. The product actually, they have some YouTube videos, so you can check it out and see how everything works. But what I want to talk about today is how my experience was with it and what I think of it. Would I use it again? Is it a piece of junk? Does it work? So this is my first leveling system I have ever used. I've never used a level system before, and I have never used any spacers before. So this is kind of, leveling systems kind of act as spacers. The little part that you put between the tiles to level the floor is, like a spacer. So I had a little learning curve there. I'm kind of old school, and I install tiles without spacers. I never used them before, so I learned before spacers came out, and I just never used them. Now this leveling system consists of two components. You have the little tab thing that goes under the tile, and you screw the cap on, and then you have the caps. And to remove everything, to take stuff apart, it's very simple. You can hit them with a rubber mallet. You can kick them off. You'll have a little bit of debris when you remove them, and very simply just vacuum it up. It's real easy. It's an easy product to use. It really is. It's not that hard. The only complaint I have about it at the moment is the tabs that go between the tiles. They only come in 1/8 inch thicknesses. That's it. They only have one thickness. I would really like it if they had a 1/16 inch thickness one. Something a little bit smaller so I can get a little bit smaller joint. Like if you want to do on a wall or something, or you have rectified edges, you don't want that 1/8 inch joint. You want a 1/16 inch joint. Or maybe if you're using like a marble or soaps, I'm not sure if you would want it for soapstone, but like a polished marble, you would want a 1/16 inch joint there. You don't want an 1/8 inch joint. It just won't look right. It looks so much nicer with a rectified edge if you have a real small joint. So that's the only complaint I have about this. So they're supposed to come out with 1/16 inch spacers, but it's not going to be until 2016. So, and what day, what month, I'm not sure. So you can't use it for every tile. Only the tiles that will accept this space, that this thing gives at the moment anyways, until they come out with the different sizes. Now this system is very easy to use. All you have to do is, put the tab under there, the little spacer thing, you screw it down, and that's it. Now, keep in mind, this is not a leveling system. Even though it says, these things say leveling system, it's for lippage. It's not to get the floor level. If you want the floor level, you can do a mud job or something. You have to, maybe use self-leveling. You have to do something to make the floor level, and then you tile it, and your floor will be level. But if you have a slanted floor, this is not going to make it level. It just makes it flat. There's a big difference between level and flat. So if a leveling system says, it says leveling system, it's not really a leveling system. It's just to reduce lippage. Now, I don't believe that you're going to get 110% lippage out of this. You have to be, you might have a little tiny bit with this particular system. So with this system, you have to get the tiles as flat as you can, reduce the lippage like the old-fashioned way as best as you can, and then snug the caps down. Don't tighten them or crank on them. You just want to snug them. Now, if you tighten it too hard, what can happen is the joints will actually open because the little tab that goes under the tile will turn. So that's kind of a downfall about this. Is you just want to snug it up, and it works great. All right, so what I mean by that is it'll prevent any sagging overnight with the tile. So, in the drying process, the tiles can settle, and it'll reduce any settling. Also, when thinset dries, it shrinks because the moisture gets sucked out of it, so the thinset will shrink a little bit, and that can actually make the tiles move a little bit. So, you know, you can get some lippage like that. So to reduce that kind of stuff, it'll also help keep the bond of the tile to the floor if someone walks on it. Now, this is a big problem. Homeowners love walking on your tile. I don't know why. I probably get at least one job a year where the homeowner's walking on my tile. I tell them, don't walk on the floor, and they go and walk on it anyways. Or they have a big dog or something, and I say, you know, you got to keep the dog off the floor, and the dog goes walks on it. Well, with this system, it seems like, but I'm not sure because I didn't test it, but it seems like it'll help keep the bond between tile. Now, in the drying process, when the thin set is drying, you know, it's in like the middle of the process of curing. If you walk on it and you move the tile, the thin set's no longer tacky. It's kind of dry, but it'll break the bond, so it'll move and it's no longer sticking to the floor. So that tile will be loose. So it's very important to stay off the floor during the drying process, just to let everyone know. But this, if something does happen, occurs where someone walks on it, I think this will help. It seems to hold the floor, hold all the tiles kind of together as in one unit. So I think it'll definitely help with that. Again, I never tested it, but it does seem like it will help with you know, the bond being broken if someone walks on it. So would I use this again? Yeah, I would. You know, I just need the right tile. You know, if it's a tile that has a rectified edge or something, obviously I'm not going to use it because I need a smaller joint. Now, it's to me, I'm doing this wood looking floor, and I feel like the joints are just a touch too big for this particular floor. With this particular floor, I like to use a joint between an eighth and a 16th. So however many 30 seconds, I think that's 30 seconds. That's the size joint I like to use with this particular tile. But you know, I made it a little bit bigger because I want to try the system, and an 1/8 inch joint for this tile is fine. You know, it looks good when it's done. Personally, I just prefer smaller joints. Again, it's not for every tile, but I will be using it in the future whenever I can, because I like the fact that it'll help, especially with large formats, it'll help, you know, keep the tiles from settling. That's one thing that, you know, I really don't want to deal with, is going to a job, doing a beautiful job, coming back the next day, and all of a sudden there's some lippage. That's a nightmare. And then, you know, usually the customer wants you to replace pieces and stuff, and it's just a big mess, and that's something I don't want to do. I don't want to deal with that. So, yeah, it's a good system. Is it the best system out there? Probably not. There might be better systems, but this is what I'm using for now. You know, it's the first tiling or leveling system I ever used, and, you know, I'm going to use it for a little bit, get used to it, and the more I use it, the faster things should go. But like there's other leveling system out there, like the Tuscan leveling system and stuff. I never used those, but I heard they're really good. So I don't know. I have no idea. I would have to try it out and let everyone know. But leveling systems, you know, they're not cheap. So I don't want to go out and buy a bunch of them and, you know, experiment with them. So I'll just do one at a time, and, you know, maybe down the road I'll try another one and see how it works. But yeah, that's pretty much my review for this. Does it work? Yes. Is it a pain in the ass? A little bit. You know, you have to get used to it. There's a learning curve there. You know, you have to be a little careful, but it does a good job. You know, it really does. It does what it's supposed to do.